Kell Hall was constructed in the late 20s, designed and constructed with completion about 1930. It was a parking deck, which is pretty obvious since I'm standing on one of the ramps that served the vehicles as they circulated throughout the structure. By 1950, the building had been transformed into some kind of a retail operation and offices, and then GSU, Georgia State University, acquired it for use as an academic building, and it's right in the middle of the academic core of the campus. In 1999, there was a campus-wide master plan study that indicated that Kell Hall was probably one of the buildings that's least efficient in terms of serving the academic and research community. It's inefficient and does not accommodate a lot of the new needs in terms of instructional areas and the types of areas that we are trying to create and CEDL is trying to create in our classrooms. So it's very difficult to adapt a former parking deck into classrooms that meet the modern and new trends in academic and research studies. In 2012, we hired the planning firm of Sasaki and Associates out of Boston, and they came down to do a campus master plan update. And out of that grew what they termed the Greenway Project, which is the demolition of Kell Hall, the demolition of the plaza, and creating a whole new green area that's dedicated and owned by Georgia State University, surrounded by academic buildings in the academic core. The president immediately grasped the idea and its impact, potential impact on the university, and in 2013 announced that we are going to demolish Kell Hall and go forward with this project. Then we began to analyze what we needed to do to get us to a point where we could demolish the building. We identified the number of occupants, what colleges and departments they were with, and the quantity of space that they occupied in the building, which is about 93,000 square feet. So understanding what we had to replace, we started looking around the campus for 93,000 unoccupied space or space that would become available on the timeline that we were operating. So definitely it's not minor or minimal. When you relocate 93,000 square feet of occupants elsewhere on campus, in a campus that doesn't have a lot of spare space, because we have classrooms, we have instructional labs, we have research labs, and we have a lot of offices and storage space in the building out of that 93,000. So we went through a long inventory with each of the department heads that would be impacted and ultimately have to move out of this building to assess what their space needs, not only in terms of square footage, but special conditions. We found that we had actually representatives of 21 different departments, some of them just having one room for storage, others having a lot of space with labs and research going on. Having done that and getting an idea of where that's going, we began to match up the square footage with the square footage available elsewhere on campus, the timelines that is available on campus, and then said, all right, this function can fit here, this one can go here, this one can go here. So once we did this assessment and we knew the magnitude of the problem and the magnitude of the problem of finding that same kind of a square footage elsewhere, we hired consultants to come in and do what we call programming. In programming, they sit down with department heads and analyze what they do in their department. You've got 3 labs, research labs. Are students there present or not? Do you do any instruction? What are your storage requirements? Are there any special HVAC, air conditioning kinds of things, or power requirements? The decision to go to an outside contractor or consultant to do the programming and the concept design, that's well beyond the resources that we have available to us in-house, as well as time. And a lot of the work that they could be doing, we would be doing work in-house on other issues and related to the move and costs and budgets and the like. As a result of the programming, we were able to identify a lot of areas that the departments didn't really need. And in some cases, they needed more than what they had. And we asked the consultants, all right, take a very close look at the program, look at the areas and spaces that we've identified in other buildings on the campus, and tell us if we have a match. And so they came back to us with a report, multiple buildings, multiple floors, multiple spaces and suites, saying, yes, anthropology labs will fit into this space. So as of about 2 weeks ago, we finalized the concepts, we matches, and that's what we're in the process today of beginning the renovations and the redesign of some of those spaces. What's complicating this is in 2012, 2013, we were mandated to get out of leased space. We were also having to get out of 10 Park Place and 34 Peachtree, which is leased space, and relocate all of those occupants into spaces. We lost a lot of the assets that we had to deal with and we thought we were going to have to deal with in terms of relocation. The second compounding issue is in the fall of 2015, we learned about Cortlandt Bridge, upcoming demolition and reconstruction. That kind of threw us for a loop because we have a building that cannot be occupied during that demolition and reconstruction of the Cortlandt Bridge, and that's the Cortlandt South building. 35,000 square feet of occupied space. It was becoming complicated more and more and more every day. I think that this was probably a very mobile and fluid process. Yeah, and if anything else, for a major undertaking such as this on any university campus, and certainly this one, that you've got to anticipate a lot of things happening that you didn't know about. Just assume that, you know, things are going to go wrong or things are going to change. We learn with every project. There's a new twist and turn to every project, and so the greater experience base we all have with projects, we can apply it to the next project and it goes much easier.